Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Wardrop, Marketing Director of Manatech Australia, and I'm here today to talk to you about virtual events. Now, as you know, during this pandemic, during the time that we're in, everyone's been a bit anxious and not being able to have one-on-one events or group events. Well, you can have one-on-one events, but group events have been a real struggle, and we've actually not been able to do that. So those of you who have picked up the new technology in either Zoom or something else, or even thought a bit outside the box on what you can do for your virtual events, I absolutely commend you. I think it's fantastic. And it's a really good use of time during this period. So what I'm going to go through today are 5 key strategies for success of your virtual parties. The first one I'm going to go through is around the planning and the setup. It's really about the brainstorming of how, what, when, where. What's the point? What's the point of the whole virtual event? What do you want to gain from it? The second thing is about inviting guests and the engagement process, which is, of course, really important to get those RSVPs in and make sure people are coming and engaged and knowing why they're there as well. Third stage, obviously going live, getting there and doing it. The fourth one is closing the sale. Really find it hard to close the sale. You really have to ask for the sale. So I'm going to give some really good tips and pointers on that. Again, it's all about the planning. And the last thing is following up. So following up with your customers and clients that have been on the call is really, really important. And that's sort of what you've got to think about. So, making all that effort and then not having a follow-up is sort of like running all the race and then not bothering to finish almost. So that's the way I look at it anyway. So it's a big, long process, but well, it's not long, but I'm going to steer you through that. Number 1, planning / setup. So this is really important. You also want to go through things like setting a theme, whether you're going to have a theme for your event, your virtual event, whether that's any type of product theme or promotional theme or just a general get together. You might want to think about having doing the event, your virtual event yourself, or if you don't feel that comfortable, maybe you involve other people to help you on the first one, or you can always involve a whole lot of associates, up to possibly 4 associates, totaling yourself, where you can go through and actually, each of you can add your own elements of what you want to create in your event. You can give certain talks and all sorts of things. If you do share an event with other associates, you always must talk about it beforehand in terms of sharing the content and sharing the leads. That's always important to have that conversation up front, of course. Your event has a target market. Now, this is really, really exceptionally important. And this is one of the first things that you should probably think about, because if you're going to have a specific target market, for example, 30-year-old mums with young children or babies, you might want to think about how you're going to target that and in that respect, what kind of content they're going to want. What goes through their head, what do they need, what are they interested in, and all those kinds of things. A really good way to work out, if you have a whole bunch of customers, is to send them a little survey. And you can easily set that up on SurveyMonkey. It's a free website that sets up surveys, very professionally done surveys. You can add your own pictures and all sorts of stuff. But if you send out a survey to your customers saying, what interests you at this time, what are you worried about, what are your health concerns, what really concerns you during this time, and what can I help you with? Another survey might be, whether they might be interested purely in the business opportunity. So you could create a survey around just the business opportunity. Are you interested in making a little bit more money? Do you work full-time? Do you have 10 hours to spare a week where you could work on a business and earn X amount of money? So, there's lots of little surveys that you can do if you have a big pile of customers that you want to segment. But actually segmenting them into certain areas on what their likes and dislikes are is a really valuable thing to do. It's always best to have a specific target market, even if it is a small group of, say, 5 people, where you're really getting to what their needs are and they're really interested, and then they become more engaged and they're more likely to convert. So the target market is really, really important to ensure that you're targeting the right people and then think about the content. So with those people, what will excite them? What will inspire them? What will teach them? You can utilize the promotions, the product promotions that are on at the same time. So currently we have the Ambrose Life 4-pack, so people can utilize that. So they're having a special, the Glyco Cafe 25% off and the Manipul 20% off. So that's 3 promotions there that you could target, that you could utilize, not on every single event, but for your target market. If you think your target market will go for that, then maybe just do those promotions. The other thing that you can also do in terms, going back to the giveaways, is ordering some extra product with your loyalty points. So obviously when you do your loyalty order, it's all free product basically, and you can utilize these products to give away at your events as freebies, or they can, if they win a prize, a product of your choice, and then you can order it for them. But it's really good to think about all of these things in the planning and preparation stage, so you can really get your head around who the target market is, what you're going to do, why they're excited. Send out a survey if you need to, and give them a couple of days to get back to you on what you need, and then that'll give you some information about that. So that's the first stage, planning and setup. Okay, so number 2, inviting guests and the engagement process. So this is really important because the way that you invite your guests determines how they show up, whether they're going to be positive, happy, sad, a bit down in the dumps, you never know. So how you invite them is going to be really important. If you want a really personalised event, send them a message, send them a personalised message, send them a personalised voicemail, send them a Facebook message, make it personal, make it a bit special. So generally speaking, as a really good rule of thumb, if you want about 10 to 15 people to attend, you actually have to invite about 50 people. So if you invite 50 people, the conversion, the statistical conversion says that if you invite 50, you're probably going to get about half of that, so 20 to 25 people that will RSVP. And from the people that RSVP, you're probably going to be having about 10 to 15 people that turn up on the day, which is pretty good. So this is where if you work to those figures and work out some sort of way of inviting people to get to that key number, then you'll get to that key number. So actually planning that process. In the same way, if you want it really super personalised, if you want 5 or 6 people, you're really going to have to invite probably at least 10 people. You might get 6 to 8 people, maybe 6 people RSVP, and probably 4 to 5 people turn up. So, it's sort of a bit of a loose gauge, but it's a really good way to, work out how many people you really need to target to get to that specific page. Okay, so the next one, number 3, is going live. Okay, so before you actually go live, I'm just saying that, but before you actually go live, you actually have to test your equipment. It's a really good idea to practice. You need to look at the lighting and the camera position. You need to test your internet. And you're always going to think about what you're going to wear and all those kinds of things. So I'll just go through a couple of those just quickly. So when you practice, just practice. You can easily make up your own account. You can just press the start button and you can video yourself. I wouldn't overdo it a bit, but the most important thing to do is to actually have a list and a planned list. And this is where it goes back to the very start, where you have to plan what you're going to say, plan what the content is, and down to the T on exactly what you want to do. If you want to show videos, make sure you have them prepped. You can pre-record a fair bit of stuff if you want to, but the whole point is really just to do something a bit live. So it sort of depends on the content, but yeah. So practice. The other thing is about lighting and camera position. So this is something that's really important as well. And I've seen many virtual events where the lighting has been really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some really good tips for that. Now, you can see me right now, right? I'm in front of a massive window and it's putting light right onto me. So if my eyes weren't as squinty, I'd probably be able to see you properly. But at the moment, the light is right onto me, and this is the best way to be. If you have light coming from either side, that's good too, but I can't get the camera right yet. Anyway, but if you've got light coming in from either side, that's really good, as well as from the front. But I'm just going to turn the camera around so that you can see exactly what's going on here. So I'm just going to lift this up. Okay. So at the moment, if I turn this around, okay, so you can see right here, right now. Okay, so my face is now got lots of light on this side, really, really dark on this side. Possibly not the most flattering look, right? So if I turn it around, right, you can see my window. Oh, I feel like an angel, but really, you can't actually see me whatsoever. And all you can see is the garden outside. So I probably wouldn't suggest that either. It's probably not that flattering. So therefore, if I turn it back around here and place it on my little stand, there you go, face. So that's the other thing. I also have a stand. So at the moment, I'm going to show you something rather bizarre. I'm going to pick this up again. But behind me, you can see I've got this random looking box. Very random, and it actually gives me a little bit of height. Now, you can use any box you want, doesn't matter, from fruit market, whichever you like. But if you put your computer on a bit of height, at least the camera will look straight into your eyes. Otherwise, if you have it down on the desk, you'll be looking straight down all the time, and people will think that you're asleep. Honestly, people think I'm asleep all the time. But there's some really good tricky pointers, because if people can't see you properly, then they'll think it's not very good, or you really have to make sort of an effort in that respect. Also, you need to think about what's behind you. So at the moment, what's behind me is a beautiful plant, and I actually set that up so it's nice and neat. I don't want anything too distracting behind me. If I'm doing some product giveaways, maybe I could have some product behind me. That's just some things. But generally speaking, if you have a recording area, it's always good to have it neat and tidy at the back. Now, if you're not doing recordings during the day, and you're obviously not relying on light, and you're doing them at night time, sort of a similar concept applies. So what you want to do is have a light right behind the camera over here that comes in and puts all the light onto your face, and potentially one from the side. If you have a light that comes directly from above, you're going to have lots of shadows, and you're going to be looking a bit necky. It's not very fun. So you just don't want to do that. But anyway, some really good tips and pointers and tricks to ensure that you have the best lighting and camera position. I can't stress enough is to test the internet. Make sure you've got a strong connection. If you don't have a strong connection, maybe invest in a booster for home, if that works. Or if you don't want to do that, maybe test the internet. For example, most residences between 7 and 11 p.m. have the most data going through their homes, because most people are home. That may have changed. That statistics, it's probably changed now, because most people are working from home, so it may not be as busy at that time. But check it at your house and see. Do a test call and see if you're going to be able to do it. Always think about what you're going to wear. So on a camera, really, really bright colours tend to reflect if you're doing it during the day. Again, at night time, have a test and have a look at whether it is the best for you. Okay, so number 4, closing the sale. So this is another key strategy to success, and it's closing the sale. So what I suggest is that you always ask for the sale. Always. You always have to ask for it. You don't faff around with the question. Always ask for the sale. So as part of the close, also make sure that you are super clear on how people can order. So this is where you pull in the promotions and you say, look, we're having promotions at the moment. You can also use a call to action. So for example, if you're utilizing the promotions on the call, or you want them to buy something particular, it doesn't have to be the promotions, but you can utilize some other sort of bundle that you want to give them to sell. If you tell them that it's available, and then you give them some time frames. So you can always say, these are the specials, but for a limited time, I'm going to give you something special as well. If you order in the next 24 hours, if you order, by Friday or whatever the time frame is that you can manage, I will give you a free bottle of Plus, which of course you could get from your loyalty points, or something similar, something that you might have that you can utilize. So I think this is the kind of stuff that people need to remember to utilize, and it's part of that call to action. So when people get off that call, they're more than likely not going to order. But once they're on the call and they're doing it, if they've got that little extra product there, little bit of value, whatever that value is, then they're more likely to take the sale. Or buy it. So the other thing is that, so using that call to action, you can use the promotions, you can use prize giveaways. At the beginning of the call, it's a really good concept, really good strategy to tell people, at the end of the call, I'm going to give you away some prizes, make sure you're still on, and have that as a carrot towards the very end where, and when you're wrapping up, you can say, oh, the lucky draw prize winner is. The other way to do that also on Zoom is that you can always paste your personal web page, like little code, the one that you get on the back of in your success tracker. So if you paste that code, you can always put that and copy that code that goes direct to your personal web page into the Zoom chat. You can always put that in there if people want to take advantage of it straight away, which I definitely would. So I would definitely do that. However, if people do click on it, they leave you. They go away and to go and have a look. So using your personal web page code as a follow-up tool, as part of the WhatsApp message group, you can say, don't forget the codes here, let me know. And then when you see an order come through from that person, you can link it up to the person that's come onto the virtual meeting, and then you can send them a special little note saying, congratulations, you've won another free bottle of plus, or whatever that call to action was. So this kind of stuff really takes some thought, and that's why the planning stage is really important. And it's always important to have these call to actions, because having these products and having all of these things can be quite confusing. So that's why the target market's important, and all of those to pull it all together. As I said before, utilising your loyalty points to buy some products for them is always a good thing. So always think abundantly. Always give generously to your customers, because they are like little pieces of gold. But always give them a time frame. So, ask for the sale, give them a time frame. If you do this, you will get that. Following up. So this is the last key strategy for success for our virtual meetings. Always nurture people. As I said before, customers are like little pieces of gold. Always give them your best. Nurture people. Make it personal where possible. Send them personalised voice messages. It's something that really good that gets the engagement. Tailor it to their needs, and be memorable and create personal relationships. So yes, I know virtual parties is something that we sort of have to do right now, but always create the personal relationship and message them personally about stuff if they don't know stuff. So that's all in the follow-up. So my conclusion for this training session is those 5 key strategies for success. So the first one was planning and setup, using all of those key pointers that I talked about. Second one was about inviting guests and creating that engagement. The third one is about going live and getting the best lighting and all of those kinds of things. Number 4, closing the sale, which is always important, and the follow-up. So utilising the skills that you have to create little relationships for these people. And some of them can become really, really important people in your lives, of course. So they are my top 5 key strategies to success for virtual parties. So thanks everyone, and good luck.